Welcome back to the 21 Boom Guided Meditation. This is Coach Zach Feeney. I'm going to be your guide for this one. What you do affects how you feel. Most important, you can change how you feel by changing what you do. You can turn activity into a simple yet powerful way to raise mood and enhance well-being. Activities that help mastery and pleasure. Pleasure activities are these are the things that give a sense of enjoyment or pleasure, like calling a friend for a chat, taking a long, hot, leisurely bath, or going for a walk. Mastery activities, these are things that give a sense of accomplishment, satisfaction, or control. Activities like writing a letter, mowing the lawn, doing something you've been putting off. It's important to know there is a two-way relationship between mastery and pleasure activities and feeling down. On the one hand, these activities can lift mood, but on the other hand, as your mood gets lower and lower, you're likely to enjoy them less, and you'll probably get less satisfaction from them than when your mood is more balanced. It's then easy to think that these activities have little to offer, but crucially, even when you're depressed, you can take advantage of the link between mood and mastery and pleasure activities. With care, you can tip the balance of the two-way relationship so that these activities will improve mood. And step one is to examine your day-to-day experience to discover the mastery and pleasure activities that are already in your life. Having these tools available in advance means they are there for you when you need to use activity to cope with depression. Building mastery, the second step, now that you've identified your list of M&P activities, mastery or pleasure activities, it's to weave them into the fabric of your life right now while your mood is relatively good. Building mastery and pleasure activities into your life before you get stressed out, exhausted, or depressed means that they are there at your fingertips to lift mood as soon as you notice mood sinking. Having them already available means you are more likely to think of them and persist with them in the face of negative thoughts like, why bother with anything? Your everyday life will be happier and more satisfying. Two ways to weave these activities into your everyday life. You can build the activity into your daily or weekly schedule. For example, a very simple, proven way to take care of your mental and physical well-being is to take daily physical exercise as a minimum. Aim for at least one brisk 10-minute walk a day. You might even do it mindfully. And if at all possible, engage in other types of exercise, such as mindful stretching, yoga, swimming, jogging, and so on. Once exercise is in your regular routine, it's there to return to as a response to depressed moods as they arise. You can link mastery and pleasure activities to responsive 3-minute breathing spaces. The breathing space provides a way to remind us to use activity to deal with unpleasant feelings as they arise. I'll describe this strategy fully when we get into daily practice. The intention is key. In depression, motivation works backwards. How things work differently in depression is that when you're not depressed, you can wait until you want to do something before you actually do it. In depression, you have to do something before you're able to want to do it. It's best not to wait until you feel like doing something before actually doing it. See if it's possible instead to do it anyway and see what you discover. When you're not depressed, if you're tired, rest can refresh you. When you're depressed, resting can actually increase tiredness. It's best not to give up on activities to rest whenever you feel fatigued. See if it's possible instead to stay in the game, carrying on with activities, perhaps even briefly increasing activity, even if your mood and thoughts seem to say no. Kindness heals, and unkindness or aversion hinders. How you use mastery and pleasure activities, the spirit or intention behind them is more important than what you do. As best you can, see if it's possible to engage in mastery or pleasure activities as an act of kindness to yourself. When you feel low in spirits, drained, with all your energy going or gone, take your time to ask yourself, how can I best take care of myself right now? Some of the examples of thoughts that stand in the way of this are here's the examples. There are things in life over which you don't have a choice, like going to work. I wasn't raised to take time for myself. My parents are elderly and need caring for. It would be wrong for me to put myself first. You can only do something nice for yourself once your obligations to others or to your work have been satisfied. I'm balancing being a parent, a career person, a husband or a wife, and a housekeeper. Where do I find the time for myself? Mindfulness practice can help you turn toward rather than escape or avoid your experience. And it can help you see thoughts as thoughts, not to take at face value the thoughts that tell you that you're, for example, stupid, to be frustrated with things. Sustainable mindfulness practice. As best you can, find a pattern of practice you find comfortable with. There's no need to force yourself to heroic efforts that are not sustainable. It's better to plan too little. You can always add more later than plan too much, which may lead you to give up altogether. So at the end of this week, take some time to look over and reflect on what you noted each day. And then see if it's possible to put down in writing the pattern of formal practice you intend to sustain from now on. And try to, for every day this week, take a 3-minute breathing space 3 times a day at the times you have decided in advance, just as you did for the previous week. Last week, we introduced the image of the responsive breathing space, taking us into a hall of which 3 doors, through re-entry, body, and thoughts, offered us different options for what to do next. This week, I'm going to introduce you to another door, the door of mindful action. As you come to the end of a responsive breathing space after reconnecting with an expanded awareness in the 3rd step, it may feel appropriate to take some considered action. Ask yourself, what do I need for myself right now? How can I best take care of myself right now? In responding to depressed feelings, the following activities may be particularly helpful. You do something pleasurable. You can choose an activity from your list of pleasure activities, or use any other pleasurable activity that is at hand or seems appropriate. You can do something that gives you a sense of mastery, satisfaction, achievement, or control. Choose an activity from your list of mastery activities, or use any other mastery activity that is at hand or seems appropriate. Remember to break tasks down into smaller steps or chunks and tackle only one step at a time, and to take a moment to really appreciate your efforts whenever you complete a task or part of a task, and act mindfully. As best you can, focus your attention on just what you are doing right now. Let your mind rest in this very moment, paying attention particularly to the sensations in your body. You may find it helpful to softly describe your actions to yourself, like, now I am walking down the stairs. Now I can feel the banister beneath my hand. Now I'm walking into the kitchen. Now I'm turning on the light. Be aware of your breathing as you do other things. Be aware of the contact of your feet with the floor as you walk. Remember, as best you can, perform your action as an experiment. See if it's possible to let go of the tendency to prejudge how you'll feel after it's completed. Keep an open mind about whether doing this will be helpful in any way. Consider a range of activities and don't limit yourself to a favorite few. Sometimes trying new behaviors can be interesting in itself. Exploring and inquiring often work against withdrawal and retreat. Don't expect miracles. Carry out what you planned as best you can. Putting extra pressure on yourself by expecting this to alter things dramatically may be unrealistic. Rather, activities are helpful in building your overall sense of control in the face of shifts in your mood. There's no need to wait until you feel like doing an activity. Just do it. So every day this week, in addition to the planned regular breathing space, take a breathing space whenever you notice any unpleasant feelings, and at least once a day, explore using the action door. Each day, keep track of your experience with this new door. What was the situation? What did you do and what happened? And you can jot it down and you can jot down a few notes with this. Remember to use your body as a way to awareness. It can be as simple as staying mindful of your posture. You are probably sitting as you are listening to this. What are the sensations in the moment, in your body at the moment, at this moment? When you finish listening and stand, feel the movement of standing, of walking to the next activity, of how you lie down at the end of the day. Be in your body as you move, as you reach for something, as you turn. It is as simple as that. Just patiently practice feeling what is there, and the body is always there until it becomes second nature to know even the small movements you make. If you are reaching for something, you are doing it anyway. There is nothing extra you have to do. Simply notice the reaching. You are moving. Can you train yourself to be there, to feel it? It is very simple. Practice again and again, bringing your attention back to your body. This basic effort, which paradoxically is a relaxing back into the moment, gives us the key to expanding our awareness from times of formal meditation to living mindfully in the world. Do not underestimate the power that comes to you from feeling the simple movements of your body throughout the day. Remember to tell yourself well done when you complete a task or part of a task. It can really help to break an activity down into smaller, more manageable steps. You could break it up either by time, doing something for only a few minutes, then giving yourself permission to stop, or by activity, doing only one aspect of a larger activity, such as clearing one part of a desk rather than the whole desk. And after each step, pause to appreciate what you've done. The breathing space is helpful because it links us to the wider aspects of doing all this program here. It brings all its friends to the party in the shape of reminders of everything you've learned. Getting the body active can reverse the fatigue and inertia of depressed mood. See if it's possible to involve friends and family so you can work together to develop your action plan and put it into practice at times of need. You may find this structure helpful, the following structure helpful. Always begin with a breathing space. Choose a practice you found helpful in the past to gather yourself as best you can, such as put it on a mindful movements, body scan, or sitting meditation audio. Remind yourself of what you have learned in this and listening to these week to week that was helpful then. Take frequent breathing spaces leading into thought review. Read something that will reconnect you with your wiser mind. Take some action that will give a sense of pleasure or mastery, like from your lists of pleasure and mastery activities. Even if it seems futile to do so, break activities down into smaller parts, doing only part of a task or doing it for only a short, easily manageable period of time. What you need at times of difficulty is no different from what you have already practiced many times throughout doing this. When feelings might seem overwhelming, if you can improve mood in this moment by 1%, you have made an enormously important shift. The quality of this moment affects the next moment, which affects the next, and so on and so on. One small change can have a large impact in the end. To finish, this is from Mary Oliver, and it's called The Summer Day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?